Penguin, would you do the honors and introduce these two players?
Sure, Maddles. In the top left spawn location, playing for Vega Squadron, we have the Russian representative as the blue Protoss player. It is Verdi, also known as Weak. We're gonna go with Verdi because it's the name that everyone seems to know. And his opponent, spawning in the top right spawn location as the Red Terran Pieces, representing Denmark and the Copenhagen Wolves. It is Bunny.
Now, PvT matchup we haven't cast for quite a while in WCS. If I'm, or is my brain failing me? I don't think we cast many last week. Well, there's not many Terrans, is there?
We had Showtime versus Morrow. We've had Bling versus Crass, and Happy versus A-Bomb.
So yeah, not too many. 3. This is our 4th PvT. Statistically, does that work out that we've had this series enough? Or this matchup enough? I'm not sure. But anyway, for the moment, this game looking to be starting pretty normal. Gas coming down here from Bunny, as well as that barracks coming on up. Verdi, on the other hand, just 1 gate, 2 gases, also looking very nice and steady. So what can we be expecting from these two, Penguin, in your opinion?
Well, Frost is generally considered to be a pretty balanced map, potentially slightly favoring Protoss, because there's a couple of chokes. There's a lot of chokes around your own base. It's pretty easy to defend with Colossus-based plays. Also, there's very, very limited dead space around the edges, and with the mineral lines facing towards the very, very edge of the map, it's pretty hard to execute really effective drop plays. Bunny is probably going to be a little bit upset with the spawn locations. Is basically on this map, a Terran player who wants to be playing a little more mobilely will probably want to be spawning in cross spawns, as it does take the Protoss player longer to get across the map with their potential Colossus-based forces. But Verdi is a player who has a past of a lot of all-ins. He's very, very good at throwing out the cheese. So this could be a pretty quick game if he decides to do that.
Well, he has gone all the way up to 6 probes straight away, so getting down some fast tech, very likely. Stargate is going to be on its way. Interestingly, before any scouting's gone down. So, doesn't actually know that he's in quite good position for that, but unfortunately a Reaper on its way over should be able to get a nice early scout. However, the Marine count very low. Not a single Marine has been produced as of yet, and just a quick command sent on its way out for Bunny for the moment. And I think he's going to follow this up, probably with a second barrack, so it should be.
Well, there should be 2 more barracks coming on
Oh,
up.
it's actually going with a factory.
Okay, yeah, factory. Cool, okay. This is going to be really interesting. There's only 1 gas up here for Bunny so far, so he's not going to be playing super heavy, like, he's not trying to rush up to starports for Banshees or anything like that, but he could go up to a starport and go for a mine drop. He could be going for a Hellion play, and he does scout the Stargate with that Oracle, so nice little scout off there for Bunny, and he does identify that it is in fact an Oracle. So I assume we'll be seeing a Widow Mine coming out of that factory first, placed down by the mineral line, probably up by the northern gas, and there's even a bunker coming in too.
And with that bunker coming down, 2 bunkers now, this is a very secure position being assembled, and that's because Bunny going to be slightly apprehensive that he doesn't have enough Marines out. You need 6 Marines to beat a Reaper, and for the moment, he's only got 4. The Reaper hasn't, the Oracle hasn't been produced as of yet, but it's on its way over, so there should have been enough time. I'm not sure this second bunker was necessary, but considering that there are 2 bases to defend, it's better to err on the side of caution.
Very, very true, and, well, I'm interested to see what this Oracle can do. Doesn't
getting
look,
pulled
well,
back.
there's a mine being made. But, okay, the mine is going to be sent to the natural here. The Marines are going to guard the
Reaper's going to die. Or should die. There we go.
Well, yeah, he is going to opt to do that. That does mean that a lot of energy is straight down the drain there for that Oracle. Immediately, the activation does cost 25 mana itself. So, a bunch of energy was expended. Verdi not expecting to do all too much on the offensive here. He does have 2 more gateways that have just been started up as well. So, he's just going to be getting up a little bit of additional production here, and we're not quite sure what he's going to be doing just yet. We're going to have to wait and see, and it is going to be a Twilight coming up from here.
And the Twilight counter coming down is quite a normal follow-up to this sort of Stargate play. It's not that common. I mean, the downside to this is quite often you'll see, say, a robotic facility into Colossi quickly for the splash. This could be for Blink. It could be going up into the Templar Archives to get Storm down nice and fast. But considering the opening that has been seen, I doubt that really Verdi's going to be too concerned about a big infantry push anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, there are 2 more racks coming up
nice
now.
little Widowmine hit.
Yeah, that's going to be able to clear up that Oracle. Very nice for him. The Oracle didn't really get all that much done. And
Nope.
we have another Oracle coming up now, actually. And we actually have Blink on the way. So, from here, given there's no Robo, there's no real, like, mid-game, late-game kind of tech. You can't really rely on Stargate as the core of your army. I think we'll probably see more gateways added on and an all-in coming out of Verdi.
A blink all-in can be really nice, especially on Frost, where there's a lot of areas that you can blink up into the main. Stim and probably Combat Shield going to get started up very shortly. We've also got another reactor being added on ready to start the medevac production here. That will get switched around. Now, Bunny's already fortified the natural base. 2 bunkers in place, ready to go. So this is going to be a very interesting situation. And Verdi adding in a pylon across just south of Bunny's natural base, ready for those warp-ins as the additional gateways get produced.
Going up to 7 gateways, the generally accepted amount for Blink all-ins up 2 base. And now he'll be bringing up his Mothership Core as well. Basically, this kind of a build, Blink all-ins are considered to be very, 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 very strong versus Terran right now, especially with the Time Warps the way it is. Blizzard is discussing a nerf to the Time Warp to make Blink all-ins less volatile. So, basically, Bunny's going to have to make sure he doesn't engage in a Time Warp. So if Verdi gets good Time Warps off, it's going to be incredibly difficult for Bunny to engage properly. Bunny got his additional Raxes up a little late as well, but he does have 3 out now, cranking out a bunch of Marauders. So he's got 4 Marauders out already. Stim, though, is not quite done. So that's going to be a little bit painful for him. And it looks like this Widowmine did get yet another kill, so that's pretty nice.
The kill went down on a probe, though, so it wasn't a massive hit. SCV's getting pulled, though, as it has now been seen exactly what is coming. The bunkers critical in order to defend this. Most of the Marines and Marauders going up into the high ground because there's the 2 bunkers at the natural base. Where is Verdi going to go? Looks like he's tempted to go into the main, but sees with that vision that there's obviously some danger. Nice detection being granted by the Oracle, and the 2 bunkers managing to fend this off for the time being.
Really nice positioning of the units here by Bunny. He's staying on the high ground, and he has those 8 Marines with the SCVs surrounding him. So the bunkers will hold pretty well, and he needs to make sure that he keeps those units on the high ground as well, because there are sentries in this army. So if Bunny sends units down to the bottom of the ramp, all of his units, then he can get force fielded out very easily. He did just send a bunch of them down, but he still has a bunch of Marauders.
Oh, Bold Blink forward here.
Blink coming in. That was, I would say, a miscontrol as Verdi loses 3 or 4 Stalkers for the cost of a bunker.
And of course, there is that 3rd bunker, now finished construction behind this. So even though a bunker was taken down, there's another one to take its place. Blink up into the main, though. Verdi going for this. Does he have enough? Time Warp is going to be used. 2 of them. But so many Stalkers are getting killed here. Creates a nice artificial choke with that force field. But the Stalker count diminishing quickly. Bunny up by 30 supply now. A retreat coming down from Verdi. And for the moment, Bunny seems very secure.
Yeah. Verdi has lost vision of the high ground with the Mothership Core going down. The Oracle is also dead, so there's no high ground vision here. And with some very lackluster micro, Bunny is going to be able to take this over weak. Not Bunny's lackluster micro.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is WCS EU Challenger. And a small change of plan. Rather than remake, or we've remade the game as opposed to recover the replays. Both players agreed nothing influential had happened so far. And this is just a whole load quicker and easier. Penguin, would you do the honors and introduce them as they are spawning in the opposite positions?
In the top left spawn location, playing as the blue Protoss player for Vega Squadron, representing Russia, it is the WCS debutant Verdi. This is his first time qualifying for WCS at all. Missed out on it throughout all of last year, so trying to make a good showing here in his first performance. On the other hand, we have in the top right spawn location, the Red Terran player playing for Copenhagen Wolves, representing Denmark. It is his 4th consecutive season of WCS. It is Bunny.
And that's no minor achievement either. 4 consecutive seasons in WCS. There are plenty of players who haven't managed to do that you may expect that they do. So, Bunny consistently putting some good results in. What are we going to be getting out, though? Pardon?
Just to clarify, as we mentioned for Haswabs, he is now going to have his 4th consecutive Premier season. This is just Bunny's 4th consecutive WCS season. He did miss out on Premier League in Season 3, so he's trying to make his way back there. But 4 seasons nonetheless, still very impressive.
Regardless, so many players haven't even done 4 seasons at all, be it Premier or Challenger. So, just getting a very different opening from Bunny this game, going CC first. Perhaps from what he scouted out of Verdi, in that, well, game, the first attempt at game number 2.
Well, we do have Verdi also probe scouting here, which is a change. He almost gets the SCV. Not quite. And, well, the probe also getting pretty low on health. Verdi's got to be a little careful with that. Bunny could halt construction of that CC and try to pick that off, but the shields are going to regenerate. A little bit of annoyance coming out of Verdi, and Verdi immediately chronoed out a Zealot by the looks of it. No, he actually canceled the Zealot. That's why it disappeared.
He cancelled the Zealot once he saw it. Once he saw the fact that the command center was coming down, he cancelled it in order to get the Nexus. So both players opting to be very economical so far. Slightly better position for Bunny at the moment, just because he did open CC first. Following it on with 2 additional barracks, which is more normal, especially when you haven't scouted, just to be on the safe side, rather than the 1 barracks in the gas.
Indeed, indeed. Now, basically the build we saw out of Verdi in response was Gateway, gas, didn't put guys in gas straight away, and then Nexus before Cybercore. Basically, he got the Nexus out as fast as feasibly possible once he scouted the Nexus, the UCC first. And now, Bunny, though, is in a pretty nice spot. He's got his orbitals morphing on in right about now. He's started double marine production as well. Still no gas for him. Adding on a 3rd Rax, nothing too out of the ordinary coming out of him thus far. Once again, I mentioned this last game, Verdi is the kind of player who does like to throw out all-ins, and he showed us that in game number 1. So I'm going to be looking at him to see whether or not he's going to be the one who dictates the pace of the game once again.
Now, what is quite interesting coming down from Bunny at the moment is adding on a 3rd barracks before any gas. So he's producing a good number of Marines very early on, potentially going to be looking to move out and bait a photon overcharge very early. Could also look to try and take out the mothership core if it gets a bit too greedy in terms of trying to get some scouting information. So Bunny now adding in the double gases, which is essential after you've opened in this manner, but he's already got a decent marine count, and that's going to start climbing pretty quick. So that shuts out a lot of potential aggression that we may see Verdi attempt.
We also have Verdi going for the armor upgrade. So speaking of Verdi all-ins, I know I've been harping on this a lot, but it is because he really does like all-ins. I think we may see a 2-base mass Zealot Archon Storm all-in out of Verdi. That's definitely a possibility here with the armor upgrade. Generally, if you get the armor upgrade, you're going to be going into a Zealot-based composition rather than the Stalker Colossus kind of Blink Stalker Colossus composition that favors the attack upgrades. Is able to shred off the front lines of the opponent's army much quicker. Meanwhile, though, he does have a Robo coming on in as well. We'll be interested to see just what this is for. You can still go Colossus with armor upgrades, absolutely. There's no restriction saying you can't do that.
Well, for the moment, Bunny, he's looking pretty steady too. Stim on his way down, so just both players being very passive for the time being. The mothership core on its way back home, and neither really looking to be moving out in the near future. Engineering bay also being added in here by Bunny. Just the 1 for the moment, so it's not a double engineering bay. Probably going to be +1 infantry attack coming down, and then once that's finished, he'll get the armory and the 2nd engineering bay to start the 2-1 upgrades off the back of that, assuming we get that far. Now, Marine has managed to make its way in here for Bunny. He's going to get a little bit of scouting information, but I'm not sure if he actually managed to see that robotics facility. No, he didn't.
Alright, so a Robo Bay was queued up for a second. Verdi ended up not building. There we go. Oh, man, he had the Robo Bay queued up for his natural, and then he decided to build it in the main instead, and as soon as he built it, the scan landed in the main. That's pretty unlucky. That's some bad luck Brian stuff right there. We have a Twilight Council coming in as well. So Verdi really teching up, playing very, very greedy this game. He's already up to 46 workers here, getting his tech all set up. +1 attacks coming out as well. So he is going to be continuing to have a lead in the upgrades area as well. And, well, Starport's about halfway done here for Bunny. I wouldn't be too surprised to see him push out across the map with the first 2 medevacs. Very, very standard push. And we'll see if he can do some damage with that.
It would be a very effective push. Yes, there's floating overcharge, but because of how much tech has already been seen and the pace of which that tech has been taken, Bunny may identify that there's going to be some vulnerability to Verdi early on, due to having so few warp gates and just ground units at that moment. But first, all the scouting coming out at the moment from Verdi. Hallucinated Phoenix checking out everything, sees the engineering base, sees the timing of that starport, and knows there's a decent number of Marines and Marauders. But to be honest, I think Verdi would be more shocked if he didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, this is very, very standard stuff coming out of Bunny. And now, we do have the Blink Stalker Colossus composition on the menu for Verdi. He doesn't have a huge amount of Stalkers just yet, but with the Blink coming in, the Thermal Lance coming in, It definitely looks like it will be that. And 4 additional gateways coming in, we could be seeing a 2-base push here. He's going up to 7 gateways, so that's still a number that you can expand off of easily enough. So I'm not going to say this is an all-in yet, because it's not necessarily going to be. It's going to depend on how Verdi decides to play this. And now, we do have Bunny moving across the map with that push we were talking about. And there is an SCV queued up at the gold here to potentially throw down a 3rd base at that gold expansion for our Terran player.
Now, pushing into the natural base could be quite tough for Bunny here. There's 2 force fields available at least. I think there may be even more than that. And quite a narrow ramp, so it could get trapped. The Marauders will equal the range of the Colossus, though, because Extended Thermal Lance isn't yet complete. There goes down those 2 force fields for the moment. Always the option for a pick up and drop up into the main base, which we may see Bunny attempt, but it would appear just putting back, getting a good look at those Colossus, and being happy getting the 3rd up and running.
Yeah, Verdi had 3 Stalkers positioned at the high ground there as well, just to be able to ward off any potential drops in the main. So really nice positioning of the very limited amount of units that our Russian player did have. So nice little defense there from him. And, well, no real damage taken by Bunny either. So Bunny does have a pretty significant supply lead, but for those of you who don't really watch StarCraft 2 all that often, that's very, very normal for Terran versus Protoss. The Terran generally will have a supply lead around this time in the game. 20 to 30 supply is pretty standard to see. And Verdi now, he is going to be finishing up his Thermal Lance. Blink is done, +2 armor's about halfway done as well. And overall, he's looking pretty solid right now, as only +1 is done for Bunny, and his armor is only about a 1/3 of the way done. So Verdi, in the upgrades, is continuing to look very, very solid, and his 3rd Colossus is about to come out as well.
Now, interesting question for you here now, Penguin. The Viking count, already up at 4, because only 2 medevacs have been produced so far this game by the Copenhagen Wolves player. What are your thoughts to that as a response to the very early Colossus timing?
I kind of like it because Bunny has the 3rd base established here at the 3rd, at the gold rather, and with Verdi still not expanding, it looks likely that he's going to go for a 2-base push, and he's got 2 more gateways coming in to take him up to a total of 9. The Templar Archives behind this. A 2-base push looks very likely here, and the scan coming down sees the 2 additional gateways, so Bunny is going to be pretty happy that he is completely in the know here. And a 2nd starport coming on down for the additional Vikings. I don't think that's really necessary here, as there's only 2 Colossi. Looks like the 3rd one was cancelled or something, and now there's an Immortal in production, or the Immortal's just been finished up. So if there's an overcommit of the Vikings, this could be a little bit rough here for Bunny. But if not, I mean, Verdi is going to be going for a pretty solid attack, but Bunny has a lot of army supply.
Bunny's already up to 167. His army supply is sitting quite happily up at 114 to 86 of Verdi. But as you said, Verdi currently only sitting with those 2 Colossi. Decent number of Vikings actually to deal with those 10 on the field. The Ghost Academy now in production too. Good little scan goes down. Sees there's not much of an army there. The Stalker count low too. 1 Colossus instantly gets taken down. The Mothership Core is going to die as well. Double Time Warp, because that was all the energy could be spent on. The 2nd Colossus will die as well. That leaves very little splash aside from that Archon. And Bunny's in a great position.
Oh yeah, there's just nothing really to deal with this bio, and Bunny rolls over that push from Verdi again, and a 2nd pretty
Penguin, do the honors.
Battles.
Do the honors, do it!
Alright then, if you really, really want me to.
I do.
In the bottom spawn location at the 6 o'clock, we have our blue Protoss player representing Vega Squadron. He's on the ropes. He's shown us 2 2-base all-ins that just have not gone his way. Will he try a 3rd one, or is he going to change it up? It is Verdi. His opponent spawning in the 12 o'clock location. We have our red Terran player representing Denmark and the Copenhagen Wolves, trying to make it back into Premier for his 3rd season. It is Bunny.
Bunny currently 2-0 up in this best of 5, of course. 1 game away from making it into Premier. And I think he can do it, Penguin. Whether it's in this game or not, though.
He's looked really dominant. Like, he's played exceptionally well. Between a mixture of Bunny playing exceptionally well and Verdi messing up his control of his armies just a little bit, it's the actual engagements in both games have been relatively one-sided. And Bunny looks poised to take this 3-0 if Verdi doesn't really step it up.
Now, the interesting thing with how Bunny has won those engagements is just because he has had so much more stuff. Yes, his control has been good, but especially in game number 2, when he moved in, the Vikings, once they'd taken out the Colossi, even before they'd taken out the Colossi, Bunny had a huge amount of infantry, and that really left Verdi in a tough spot anyway, and that's credit to how well Bunny has been macroing behind everything and just playing solid. It's the same in any kind of competitive event. It's not the fancy stuff that wins you games, it's the basics. The solid, just macro you see from Bunny, the good build orders, the nice refinement and good control, gets him slowly ahead, and that's really being demonstrated in this series so far.
Yeah, and I mean, even now he is going for a Reaper opening, which is going to set him back a little bit economically, as opposed to the CC first that he chose in the last game. But as you said, he just has such solid fundamentals that he's going to be able to make that up nonetheless. And on the other side of the map, we have Verdi just playing with a pretty solid opening, a pretty standard opening, starting off with 2 guys in gas to begin with. Now he's at 5 total, 2 in one, 3 in the other. Yeah, then marching across the map with the Zealot. Actually, may just be checking for the engineering bay blocking, yeah. And now we do have a Mothership Core on the way, so nothing too crazy yet, but I'm expecting, once again, Verdi to be the one who really decides how the pace of this game is going to be.
The Reaper coming on up in, going to try and do some damage to that Zealot. Just playing it very cautious at the moment. Not much can really be achieved when the Mothership Core would already be out and the Stalker would be hot on its heels. But Bunny behind this, getting down the natural command center, everything looking solid there for the moment. Also the factory ready to switch in with that reactor most likely pretty soon. This is quite interesting. Actually,
yeah,
it probably won't switch.
Factory.
It should just be straight into a starport, I reckon, actually.
It could be that. It could be a Widowmine Marine drop. Or it could be switched over when the factory is done and used to produce Hellions. It could be either of those two things. CC's about 3/4 of the way done, and we do have the Nexus started up as well. So, Verdi also looking to expand, doesn't want to go crazy with the one base or anything like that. Looks like the Mothership Core should scout what's going on, so Verdi is going to be in the know. And yeah, it is going to be straight into a starport. This is a Widowmine drop build out of Bunny. Nice little kill off on that starport. Going to delay the starport and kill off an SCB here for Verdi. Getting off to a good start for once.
I don't think Bunny is going to continue on with this drop. After it's been scouted so early, it gives plenty of time for Verdi to be able to respond to this. I'd like to see Bunny actually just obviously finish off that Widowmine, then chuck down a tech lab on that, do a quick little switcheroo with everything and just transition out normally, because he's already going to get a response. He already has got a response out of Verdi with that robotics facility coming down, ready to produce an observer nice and fast.
You also have a Twilight Council coming up very, very early here from Verdi. This could be a DT drop play, or this could just be, as you said, the robotics just for the observer, and then the Twilight being his initial tech of choice. Now, the Metavac's on the way. We're going to see what this can do. A little bit of poking at the front as the Marines and the Widowmine just march across the map. No Medevac here just to start. And, well, we'll see what oh, the Mothership Core goes down. Really sloppy there from Verdi.
Losing that Mothership Core is huge. No Photon Overcharge suddenly means these Marines could be very effective, especially with this Widowmine placement. Blocks out a lot of stuff, using a single probe as a sacrifice to make that Widowmine go onto cooldown. But more Marines coming over. Running back, a decent number of gateway units here. Time Warps, though, running out. There really isn't too much.
No, and overall, nice little pick up there on those 2 Marines to save him. And, well, this one Widowmine could get a kill if if Verdi's not careful. Overall, that did not go as badly as it looked like it would. Still a favorable trade, though, for Bunny, as he got that Mothership Core that had quite a bit of energy.
Now, it would appear the Bunny's going to be following this up in a very interesting way, getting a tech lab down on that starport. He must be switching. He must be switching the barracks around and switching it. I can't imagine that he's actually going to use that for a Banshee.
That'd be kind of cool. What's it going to be?
No, it is going to be a switch.
It's going to be a switcheroo.
I was going to say,
right.
a Banshee would be very unusual.
It would be really cool. But, as you said, very unusual. That's kind of what makes it cool, though, I guess.
Nice little move there. Only 2 Marines came down, but it caused a big probe pull. Just means that lost mining time was achieved. So, Bunny just trying to get the most out of any units that he does currently have down. Going to pick up the Widowmine and head in towards the main base. There are a couple of Zealots there, but more importantly, the Observer. So that grants the detection if the Widowmine was able to burrow up.
Yeah, this shouldn't do anything, this Medevac. Bunny's going to come on in here, probably try to drop the Widowmine, but it shouldn't do anything, as you pointed out. It might actually get a Zealot. Yep, gets a Zealot. That's pretty nice.
Better than nothing.
It doesn't go down for free.
Now, of course, we do have Stim started up now for Bunny over at his side of the map. Also, continuing in with Combat Shield as his second upgrade from the tech labs there. An Immortal in production now from Verdi, and he's just really sitting back quite comfortably. No sign of trying to go up into a third as of yet, but does have charge on its way down. Does he have... No, he doesn't have a Templar Archives as of yet, but it's just got started.
And yeah, we have Immortals coming out of the Robo as well. This could be a pretty cool push out of Verdi. It looks like he is going to be adding on a couple more gateways here, going up to a total of 4 for now, so not anything exceptional, but he's going to have some nice production in continuing to crank out those Immortals one at a time. And with the Templar Archives coming up, this could be a pretty strong 2-base push once again, or it could be an expand play. We're going to have to wait and see. He has favored the 2-base plays for the first 2 games of this series, so it wouldn't surprise me to see that. But at the same time, he lost those first 2 games, so potentially he may want to switch it up. But looks like he's queuing up more gateways.
More gateways coming in suggests that this is going to be more of a commitment to the push. He's only actually going up to... Looks like he's going to go up to 6 gates, which he can still expand off the back of. It's not a complete all-in, but I suspect Verdi, knowing his playstyle, will be fairly aggressive with this, especially with the amount of tech. Good little scan comes down there, sees the Immortals. I don't believe yet, though, Bunny has been able to scout down the Twilight... Oh, no, he's seen the Twilight Council, so he knows that's there.
Yeah, he doesn't know about the Templar Archives, though, and he can assume that's coming out since he doesn't see an exceptionally high number of Stalkers here.
Oh, big drop heading up in towards the main base Penguin. 3 medevacs worth. Is going to manage to unload. Nice little scan comes down. Sees there's no reaction as of yet. Bone Overcharge has been used. The Mothership Core going to be the target. Probably won't be able to get sniped down, but Time Warp is going to be used. Couple of Zealots tanking up the damage, but good stuff as that micro from the Terran player.
Yeah, really nice Time Warp there, and the Mothership Core does survive as well. So Bunny going to try to go for another drop on the low ground here to try to pull his opponent apart. If Verdi gets rolled well, this shouldn't really do all too much. Good Guardian Shield going on down. Although the Marines are going to be able to focus down one of the Immortals and the Pro Pool coming on out. There should be enough to hold this, but a lot of the expensive units are going down, Maddles.
A second Immortal dies as well as just 2 probes, but still, 2 Immortals going down to that is more than Verdi would have wanted to have lost. And it does significantly reduce how powerful the forward push could be if it continues on, especially with a decent number of Marauders being produced. 3 coming out at a time from Bunny. That's a lot of DPS up against the Stalkers. And also defense if there were going to be... well, there will be Storms. So Marauders fare better against Storm than Marines.
Yeah, Storm is done. We're up to a total of 6 gateways with 2 more about to complete. Storms, good Storms, can definitely change the tide of the battle, but there's only 1 Storm at the moment as these other 2 Templar don't quite have enough energy for it just yet. They're still about 10 energy away. Bunny, though, not going to push into this just yet. Looking to load up one of the medevacs and go into the main with this. There are Zealots there and a Mothership Core, so that should be okay. I don't think Bunny can make anything happen. Yeah, he's going to pull on home.
Bunny also adding in the Ghost Academy back and home, so he's going to be starting to try and deal with the High Templar that he is now aware of. Upgrade-wise, we've got 0-2 upgrades completed for the Protoss player, and currently 1-0 done for Bunny, soon to be 1-1.
Yeah, the 3rd base for Bunny also been up and running for quite a while now, and that's definitely going to give him a bit of a nice economic boost here as he is up to 68 workers already. So actually, army supply is very, very even. Within 1 supply right now, it's 68 to 69. And with the first 3 ghosts on the way up, that's really going to help Bunny's army be a lot stronger against his composition. EMPs against the Templar, against the Immortals, going to be fantastic. And it looks like Verdi wants to take a 3rd base here. He's expanding, doesn't want to go for any kind of 2-base play, and I think that is definitely the right call because it's going to be very, very difficult to push into Bunny after losing those 2 Immortals.
The concern for Verdi is that Bunny is starting to rapidly accumulate a very large army. And once those ghosts start coming into it, as you mentioned, the EMPs will knock out the shields of the Immortals, their key benefit, and also, if they hit well, take out those High Templars' energy so there's no Storms. And without Splash, suddenly Verdi could be in a monstrously difficult position to try and actually take this game. But if he moves out before there's too many Ghosts, which he does appear to be doing, he may hit a nice little window of opportunity with the 1-2 upgrades that are about to complete.
Yeah, there's actually only... Well, now there's up to 6 ghosts on the map, but 3 of them just spawned. They don't have Mobius Reactors, so they don't have enough energy for an EMP just yet because the buff has not quite gone through.
Nice snipes.
A couple of snipes going down. Nice snipes. Feedback goes down too.
Good control.
Overall, though, you know, Verdi actually has a lot of army supply here. This is looking a little bit like this could go his way.
There's a decent number of High Templar as well, although while there are 9 on the field, not many are actually with this army, but Storm's gonna be baited out, not a great Storm there. And if the Ghost, well, the High Templar is actually with this army, there's none left.
There's 2 in the
Oh, there's 2 in the... Okay. Oh, nice little Widowmine.
Widowmine goes up to start the engagement. That's going to take out the shields of a couple of these units and the Stalker. Verdi, though, with a lot of army supply, all pushing Bunny up to the high ground again. This is looking really, really tough for Bunny to deal with. As you mentioned, there's only a couple of storms. Good. Snipes going down to that one Templar. 2 of them left. The other 2 are going to be morphed into an Archon here. Where are the EMPs? Are they going to be good? SCV's already being pulled. EMPs haven't gone down just yet.
Good storms.
Beautiful storm coming down to the right flank here. And Verdi in a very, very solid spot here. Bunny plummeting in supply.
He's backing away, trying to really split this army apart so we can take out at least a small group of it. But this means that he's got very little to defend the natural base. The Zealots, the Archons, the Mortals all pushing forward. And with a couple of sentries in the mix, should be able to force field off this army that is now completely separated.
A flank coming in from the right. All of these units are very, very low, but they are able to pick up a couple of the units of Verdi. Now Bunny pulling them on back. A good force field is going to allow him to pick up a couple of those units, but the supply is heavily in Verdi's advantage here. Verdi does have a 20 supply lead right now. Bunny does lift off his 3rd CC. Now, the ghost control has to be absolutely miraculous for this to work.
Good damage coming through from Verdi. Verdi not rushing, not taking any big leaps and bounds, just slowly pushing in. He's already taken out the 3rd, so he's a base up, and he's transferring probe to his own 3rd now. And he knows he's got Bunny on the ropes. Bunny just staying back, trying to take any good engagement that he can. But things looking absolutely fantastic for the Protoss player at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Verdi just keeps posturing aggressively. He's not pushing in. He's not overcommitting. He has his own 3rd base. He doesn't have to kill Bunny right now. But I think he could if he wanted to. He's waiting for Storm Energy. He actually has Storm Energy, so here we go. He is finally going to move on in. A Storm going down to the front. A decent Storm will pick up a couple of the Marines. The rest of them will be healed on up. Bunny, though, he's got six Ghosts here. That is a pretty reasonable number of Ghosts. A really good EMP goes down there on a lot of the Zealots. But Verdi doesn't have to push in here. He's in a good spot, even if he just contains him, which is exactly what he's doing.
Verdi currently mining over double minerals and gas per minute of Bunny. And the longer this contain goes on, the longer it's going to stay that way. So Verdi isn't really in a rush. In a better position, up in supply, and that's going to keep climbing. Upgrades too are looking actually slightly in favor of Bunny now. So Verdi having to retreat back for the moment just to get a couple more reinforcements through. Loses an Immortal. Nice little pick up.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing over there. That's a little bit unfortunate for him. At this point, I'm trying to look at this and see what Bunny needs to do to win this. He's going to reestablish his 3rd. That's a good start. Yeah, I think some good damage has to go down to the other side of the map as well. Maybe a drop or 2, but he really can't afford to send those units across the map because he needs them to stay alive right now. He's still behind in supply. Down by a good 25 army supply, down in workers. That's not too critical as he does have the opportunity to call down mules.
Oh, nice EMP there.
Really good EMP.
Needs another few of those though if he's going to keep this going. He's desperate to keep his 3rd base alive. It's essential. The Ghost at the front of the army. Another good EMP though. The Immortals all but one now lacking any shields. A couple of those Archons also hit nicely. Nice snipe goes down, picks off one of the Archons very quickly, but a time warp, and Verdi is going to be going for this. Bunny, does he have enough in order to hold this? Well, the Mothership Core will die. Storm's now starting to hit, and they are very good. And still, Verdi pushes on in. The Marauders, the infantry, trying to kite back, but so many Zealots at the front. Going to be able to tank up this damage. Bunny attempting to hold, but Verdi now nearly double the supply of his opponent. And the natural base of Bunny is going to fall.
Yeah, the bases of Bunny being absolutely ransacked here by Verdi. Bunny landed the perfect EMPs, but he got stormed and just didn't have enough as he'd already been whittled down earlier on in the game. Bunny is going to be able to re-land his natural as he does chase off this army for now. A couple of really good pickoffs there on some of the Archons, but I just don't think there's enough here for Bunny to hold. He's almost half the supply of his opponent. Verdi has been trading pretty cost efficiently the whole game. He's up to 2,000 in resources lost, and now going for the final push will pick off that CC. Bunny trying to hold, but the GG is called, and Verdi will start the... Well, will this be the start of a comeback? He does take...
Penguin. Go for it.
Alrighty then. In the top left spawn location of Altrazim's stronghold, taking game number 3, starting what he hopes is going to be a pretty epic comeback. It is our blue Protoss player representing Vega Squadron and Russia, Verdi. And in the top right spawn location, 1 game away from Premier. He dropped the last one. Can he make it a 3-1? it is our Red Terran player representing Denmark and the Copenhagen Wolves. It is Bunny.
Do you know what was different between games number 1 and 2 and 3, Penguin?
One of them was on Polar Night, the other one was not. The other two were not.
That is true, but not the point I was going for. Game number 3, Bunny attempted to be very aggressive early on with that Widow Mine drop. I think he's going to roll back to how he played in game number 1 and 2, which is a bit more defensive and just opting to try and get into more mid-game for a nice little mid-game timing push and just rely on his basics, his macro, to get ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, there's actually a little bit of something that's kind of... First of all, it's kind of interesting that we have a Reaper opening coming out rather than a CC first.
Especially on
map.
Outer Rim, yeah, it's huge.
But I know the reason for this, and the reason is a lot of people, like the vast majority of people, think that in this matchup, Outer Zim is a good map for Terran, for TVP. Verdi picked this map. So that, to me, says that Verdi has something planned. He has some special tactics in mind. Bunny probably thinking the same, wants to go for the safe Reaper opening. And as a result, he's not going for the CC first. He's not going to let Verdi take advantage of him with any kind of crazy early all-in. But we don't see an early gateway. We just see very, very standard timings coming out of Verdi so far. So I'm really looking forward to seeing just what he has planned.
For the moment, not too much being revealed from Verdi. He's adding in a second gas. Knows his opponent has spawned to the right. Could be a Stargate. It would hit very late, though, if an Oracle came down, unless it was proxied somewhere. Other than that, I mean, what are your thoughts? What kind of things do you reckon Verdi could be aiming for?
I mean, he has showed that he really likes the 2-base all-ins, and you know the last game he had a third Nexus and he saturated it with transferred probes, but even then, when he went for the push, he completely cut probe production, and it was not an entirely super all-in as much so as the other two games, but it was still a heavily committed push, and that seems to be the kind of play that he is favoring right now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see another heavy 2-base play coming out of our Protoss player. And, well, what he decides to do is just going to be one of those things that time will tell. He is going to take an expansion right about now. And I guess we'll have to wait and see, Mr. Maddles.
Not too much really occurring on either side, to be honest. Both just opting to get their expansions down. We do have a second barracks being utilized by Bunny. That's going to allow him to pump out some more Marines in case there was, say, an Oracle making its way through. Other than that, the Reaper made its way into Verdi's base and is just going to be getting a quick scout around to see exactly what's coming. Gets a good little look already. Most of the stuff just wants to try and confirm the second gas. That's going to be the big thing to spot there. Knows that 3 probes are in each, and will then just come and check to see whether there's an... or should come and check to see if there's a natural base, but opting not to do so.
Yeah, opting to try to maintain the Reaper's life rather than go for the full scout. We do have a Robo on the way here for a week as well, or Verdi. And behind this, the natural expansion for Bunny is already about halfway morphed into an orbital, and he does have 2 Raxes up, Tech Lab completing as well, so he'll be able to get Stim started momentarily, and he will finally confirm the existence of that natural base here with that Reaper, and actually, he may get out with its life. Yeah, looks like he should.
And it's really good keeping that Reaper alive, because you can come back to get some more scouting information later, potentially poke a bit more. Meanwhile, Bunny adding in Stim, no second Tech Lab or third barracks for the moment, so Combat Shield will be a tad delayed, but both players looking fairly similar in terms of their economy, while Verdi is slightly up in the probe count. Obviously, mules are available to Bunny, which levels that out fairly fast. Tech now just coming down from Bunny. This is about a normal time for the factory to be going to be going into a starport for the medevac production. Meanwhile, we just see observers being pumped out for Verdi.
Yeah, he's just going to be trying to get the map vision, and that's very, very important on this map. There's a lot of... there's not a huge amount of dead space, but there's a pretty significant amount, and you really want to be able to see just what your opponents are doing. Just maybe have an observer out to the west of the natural base there of Bunny, just so we can see if there is going to be a drop coming out in his direction. We do have the robotics bay coming in as well, so he will be going into Colossi most likely. Did it. Okay, so that's really nice information for Bunny to have as well. And, well, last time Verdi went Colossi, it didn't really go too well for him, to say the least.
Yeah, the thing which Bunny did was he only got out 2 medevacs, and then started straight away with Viking production. And that game was Habitation Station, which Bunny won very convincingly. So it's interesting to see Verdi going back to this style of plays, also adding in the Twilight Council, which is the same as he did on Habitation Station.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can make it happen a little bit better this time. The push that he did on Habitation Station wasn't doomed from the start. It was just sort of, he only had 2 Colossi, and the positioning of his units was such that Buddy was able to snipe them both before the engagement went down, which is pretty much a death sentence for that army. So, if he can control his army better, there is definitely a chance that the same kind of a push could work. There's also still a chance that he is going to be opting to change it up as well. He's going up to 4 gateways, and he's adding on Charge. So, Charge in the armor upgrade, this could be a fake Colossus, just like 1 Colossus straight into Templar. Or this could be... this is going to be a Zealot-based composition either way.
Now, for the moment, Marines moving forward. They're going to come and check to see if they can deal any damage. But one of the beauties of Outer for Protoss players is holding your main and natural not too hard. All he's got to be cautious of is whether or not there's going to be any drops into this natural base. And that's why we see the Mothership Core there, the Observer there, just ready to float an overcharge if required. And it seems you are correct, Penguin. A Templar Archives in production.
Yeah, so he looks like he's not even going to be getting any Colossi at all. Just having that robotic space scouted is enough for him. Bunny's going to expect the Colossi, and he's not even going to bother making one. But now, we have the double medevac drop moving into the main here. We're going to need an overcharge to go down. There's not enough units to deal with this. Where is that Mothership Core?
It's down to the natural, being brought back now.
Okay. This should be okay.
Pylon goes down there, which is always nice. Moves in. Going to try and get another pylon. That's actually going to cost a couple of Marines, but will supply block Verdi.
And yeah, I mean, he's continuing to pick up a couple of these units, and he's just trading for Marines, which are very, very cheap. Overall, not bad at all here from Bunny, as he is weakening this. Oh, he actually gets on up the ramp as well. That's going to be very unfortunate.
Oh, sentries.
All the sentries go down.
That's a big amount of gas. Straight away lost. The Immortal too, taking considerable amounts of damage, is going to fall. With these medevacs, a couple of Marines get away, but that was definitely a much better trade for Bunny. The amount of gas that went down for Verdi there, monumental. And now he's suddenly got to try and get that back somehow. And when he's looking to get a high Templar too, he needs all the gas he can get.
Yeah, this really puts Verdi incredibly far behind here. He's down by 30 supply. He's going to be behind in... Is he behind in upgrades? No, not quite. Upgrades are pretty even here. But he's adding on a lot of gateways, but I mean, he doesn't really have any power units at the moment. His army composition is a couple of Templar, 3 Zealots, 1 Sentry, 1 Mothership Core, and 2 Stalkers. That's not exactly formidable, to say the least. And
Storm.
Actually, with this next set of Marine Marauder coming on forward, Bunny may just kill him.
Bunny slightly supply block for a couple of seconds here, but scanning, he realizes there's nothing on the ramp. Gonna try and get up there. Doesn't quite do it, but the double medevac should be able to drop up in. There's enough energy for a Photon overcharge. But there's so many Marines and Marauders. The High Templar trying to get picked off without Storm done. They're very vulnerable, morphing into an Archon. And this is looking so good for the Copenhagen Wolves Terran.
This little engagement is definitely going the way of Verdi so far. The only real thing that Bunny got done there is he forced an overcharge and he forced 2 Templar to be morphed into an Archon, so there's 2 less Templar. But the Archon survived, so overall, that one was a pretty decent trade for Verdi, but he's still really far behind, down 50 supply almost. His +2 armor is about to finish, so that's going to be nice once that kicks in, but I mean, Bunny is just continuing to power the bio. He's got 3 bases up, he's got a 21 worker lead, and overall, Bunny is looking like he's ready to clinch this series. Is he going to be able to do it? That's the bigger question.
Marauders quickly moving up, bait another force field out, but that means the Zealots aren't able to engage onto these Marines. A couple more Zealots do get taken out. Another wave of reinforcements coming across, as well as a Ghost Academy being constructed back at Bunny's main base. Remember, Bunny up at 3 bases to the 2 of Verdi at the moment, and Bunny also up 77 to 52 workers.
Yeah, this is
good
a really
storm.
good storm going down. But then the Zealots kind of run into it. But still a good storm overall. Really nice Widowmine detonation there, but the Widowmines aren't super strong. Nice storms continuing. Good dodging out of them by Bunny, but still good damage taken. A couple of the Templar are in a pretty bad position, do get picked off. And one of the medevacs will go down, but not the one loaded to the unit. So overall, storms can definitely make the difference in this game. But Verdi's going to need to land some magnificent storms. He's got 5 Templar up. How many of them have energy for storms? Doesn't look like any of them actually do at the moment.
Verdi, though,
One does.
Verdi's looking to go in for a counterattack for the moment, Penguin, running across the map.
Yeah, he's all in with this. This has to work. He's got 11 gateways. You can't finance 11 gateways on 2 bases. What you doing, Verdi?
Bunny going for a drop. He's going to move in with just the units that are the other side of the map. But without these bunkers up, his third base, I think, is going to have to be abandoned. And he is agreeing with me there, pulling the SCV. He's going to lift that and back away. And holding the Ram shouldn't actually be too tough at the moment, especially with another wave of...
he's got a drop in the main, too, that's absolutely shredding this. A really good photon overcharge is going to help ward this off, but it's just not really all that great against these 1-1 units. They're continuing to shred away at these units. The Nexus already down to half health. His shields are gone, taking hull damage. Looks like the Nexus should survive, but actually it might not. The water's still...
Really big storms coming down on a lot of these SCVs now. So the tanking line getting taken out, but there's so few units here. Bunny and Verdi both on very similar supplies at the moment, but this push should get cleaned up. The High Templar taken out. Remember, there's the third Orbit Command still up and running here for Bunny. That means he's got the 3 mules, and Archon going to get taken down. And the drop, while it hasn't killed that much, it killed the main base. So
yeah, the Nexus is gone. The income for Verdi is really stunted quite a bit, but with more units moving on forward here, one of the Templar gets picked off and focused on down. Good snipes coming down. GG is called, and Bunny takes the series 3-1.